What's up everybody, Warhawk Beyond 2040 in the house, once again bringing to you yet another awesome yet crazy theory, and today marks another first for this series, as this will be the first time that I'll be talking about the DC animated universe, or as we hardcore fans fondly refer to it as the DCAU. And for the purposes of this video, I will be talking about a certain iconic and classic Batman villain I would like to see be brought into Batman Beyond. I will also be talking about what kind of story I would like to tell, and also I'll be talking about what kind of problems this villain could cause for not only an older Bruce Wayne, but for the current Batman, Terry McGinnis. What makes this video extra special for me is I'll be dedicating this video to one of my good buddies. Some of you might remember him, and his name is Chris. He sat in on some of my recent videos that I did reviewing the Batman Beyond comic books, as well as the 20th anniversary video that I did for Batman Beyond, and I'll be dedicating this to him as he recently lost his lovely dog Ty just a couple of weeks ago, and villain that I'll be talking about is Chris's favourite Batman villain of all time. It's no secret that Batman the Animated Series is quite possibly the greatest superhero cartoon of all time, for many reasons. Batman the Animated Series helped change the way superhero shows in general were looked upon, as far as cartoons were concerned. Superhero cartoons back in the late 60s all the way up to, I'd say, maybe early to mid 80s, a lot of superhero cartoons were very safe. You never really got the sense that the heroes were in jeopardy or they had to deal with lots of different issues that were going on in their life. It was a pretty standard formula. Find the villain, defeat the villain, repeat. And that was okay, but for the most part it got very stale. In early 1992, Bruce Timm and a team of many great designers and writers made Batman the Animated Series into a monster hit. And for a lot of reasons. The episodes were all written like mini movies, kind of very similar to what the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons was back in the early 40s. You had Shirley Walker's score and her orchestral arrangements really gave the show a very dark, unique feel, kind of similar to what the two Tim Burton Batman films did back in 89 to 92. And Batman the Animated Series was an absolute classic, and it's just recently come out on Blu-ray, and it's one of the best. And it also helped pave the way for other superhero cartoons. Shows like Superman the Animated Series gave Superman a new audience, and it's a great show, criminally underrated, but it's one of the best, if not the best, Superman cartoon ever. It also gave us a proper Justice League animated series, and it's up there with Batman. It balances so many different personalities and so many different heroes, and it done a wonderful job. It even gave us Static Shock. Not really known to a lot of fans, but it's a really fun show and highly recommended. Got to check it out. Brilliant. And it also, of course, gave us Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond was kind of like a spin-off / continuation of Batman the Animated Series, and it's one of the best out there. It also gave us great versions of the Joker, voiced wonderfully by Mark Hamill. It gave us a real tragic, dark story for villains like Two-Face. It made Mr. Freeze a serious villain again after being an absolute joke. It made the Penguin scary, even though I don't care much for the Penguin, but they did a good job with him anyway. Lesser known villains like Clayface did a superb job with him, and even villains like Bane, which they did an awesome job as well. But also great storytelling with villains like Ra's al Ghul, which they adapted the Dennis O'Neil stories. But it's no secret that Batman has quite possibly the greatest set of villains in the history of fiction, literature and comic books, but there's one villain that's just as iconic as the Joker, and that's none other than Edward Nygma himself, aka the Riddler. Now, the Riddler I consider to be one of the greatest and most iconic Batman villains in the history of Batman comics. He's been a mainstay ever since he debuted in the comic books back in the 40s. And what makes the Riddler such a unique villain compared to villains like Two-Face, Penguin and the Joker is, in many ways, the Riddler is Batman's equal. He's equally as smart as Batman and equally as intelligent as him, but he also challenges Batman in a game of wits. So it's more like, well, Batman, if you're saying you're the world's greatest detective or you're as smart as I am, try and figure this puzzle out, try and solve this riddle, answer this question. And Riddler is one of the most iconic Batman villains of all time. But sadly, the Riddler only appeared in 3 episodes in the animated series of Batman. His first appearance was If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich?, which is a really good episode. Another episode called What Is Reality?, where Jim Gordon was trapped in a video game. It was okay. And also Riddler's Reform, which was the first Riddler episode I ever saw. He also made a cameo in Superman the Animated Series episode called Nighttime, where Superman dressed up as Batman and teamed up with Robin to find Bruce. And Riddler just got pretty much humiliated and didn't really have a whole lot to do in that story. And also he made another cameo in Season 4 Batman Over the Edge, where him, the ventriloquist, and Scarface, Mad Hatter and Harley Quinn were looking to sue Batman now that they knew that he was Bruce Wayne. And yeah, it was pretty silly really. Again, Riddler didn't have much to do. And he made a few appearances in the tie-in comic books to the show, Batman Adventures, Batman and Robin Adventures, and a few appearances here and there in Gotham Adventures. Now, his final appearance in the DCAU was an episode called Judgment Day, where Harvey Dent made a third persona for himself called the Judge and took out a number of villains. And the last shot we ever saw of the Riddler was a giant book fell on him. And that was it. We never saw or heard about the Riddler ever again. So the big question is, what happened to one of Batman's most iconic villains? Is he alive? Is he dead? Or if he is alive, is he crippled because he was never addressed in the Justice League animated series, or he never appeared in the comics ever again? The closest we got was we saw the Riddler suit in the Batcave in an episode called Sneak Peek, and that was all we got. And another appearance was in an episode called Terry's Friend Dates a Robot, where Terry is training with Bruce Wayne and he fights a robotic version of the Riddler. Now, I remember back in secondary school they said that Riddler was going to appear in Batman Beyond, but it turned out to be not true. It was very misleading. It was just a training scene, that's all it was. So the question is, what happened to Edward Nygma in Batman Beyond? So my theory is going to be how I would bring the Riddler into Batman Beyond. For the purposes of this video, I will make Riddler's appearance be in a Batman Beyond animated movie, and I will make Riddler Beyond, his real name, be Edward Nashton. Now, for many hardcore fans that know that name, Edward Nashton was a name that the Riddler used for himself in the old comic books. So for the purposes of this theory, I would make Edward Nygma and Edward Nashton two completely separate characters. And I feel that if you're going to bring in someone as iconic as the Riddler, just like they did for the Joker back in Return of the Joker, I feel a villain like that, you need to do it in a movie, and this is the way to go as far as I'm concerned. Now, how I would kick off this Batman Beyond animated movie is there is a new gang that's burst onto the scene. They're called the Riddlers, and they're looking to challenge the T's and the Jokers for gang supremacy. So basically, this film is set, I would say, probably 3 years after Return of the Joker. So the Joker's already gone again, thanks to being defeated by Bruce and Terry. So Bruce and Terry learn that this new gang called the Riddlers are terrorising Gotham City, and they are challenging probably more the Jokers than the T's. The T's is just more like an obstacle for the Riddlers to just overcome and just dispose of them. They feel that, well, the Joker's legacy lives on, but everyone always talks about the Joker. What about the Riddler? It's time the Riddler reclaimed his throne as Batman's greatest enemy. Joker's overrated. We're fed up of the Joker, so they're locked in a war for gang supremacy. And what the Riddlers do is they leave a calling card. They spray a green question mark graffiti everywhere they go after their attacks. So it leads to the question, who is committing these attacks? Even though it is the Riddlers, but they do this as a way to basically draw out the future Batman in the ultimate battle of game of wits. So after Terry breaks up this gang fight between the Jokers and the Riddlers, he sees they leave a card behind with a question mark, and he says to Bruce, any idea who the Riddlers are? Bruce obviously would say, no, but I know what that main name means to me. Come back to the Batcave and I'll explain everything. And in that movie, Bruce could explain that as the Riddler always considered himself to be the greatest enemy and the smartest of Batman. And Terry could ask, well, is the Riddler alive? And Bruce could say, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think he is. And Terry goes, well, hang on a minute. The last time this happened, you said to me that the Joker died, but the Joker came back. Alright, we know he came back in Tim's body, but he still came back anyway. So, do you want to talk to me about this, old man? And Bruce could say, well, I think it's highly likely that the Riddler is dead, because the last time I heard, he had a giant book crash on him. And Terry could say, ouch! There's no way anyone could survive that. Not even you. No disrespect. So, if he's dead, why have we got this new gang called the Riddlers running around causing trouble? And Bruce could say, the same reason why we have the Jokers, McGinnis. They're just here, they're just a group of kids trying to live off an old villain's legacy. It won't go anywhere. And Terry could say, alright, well, fair enough. You know, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have. Anyway, I've got to get to school. I've got to show a new kid around. And Bruce could say, okay, what's the kid's name? Oh, I don't know. I think his name's Edward something. Let me get the report card out. And Terry could get the report card out and say, oh, their principal says I have to show this new kid around, and his name is Edward Nashton. And Bruce's face could light up like, why have I heard that name before? And Terry could say, oh, come on, Bruce. Not everyone at Hamilton High is secretly a supervillain, you know. And Bruce could say, is that right? Let me see here. Your school counsellor, Dr. Ira Billings, or shall I say Spellbinder, got his students to commit robberies for him. And you as well, by the way. Or what about Willie Watts, who controlled his father's golem robot and nearly levelled all of Gotham? Or what about your old pal Big Time? And Terry could say, alright Bruce, alright, you've made your point, old man. Look, I don't know nothing about this Edward Nashton kid. For all we know, he's probably just a nice guy who's moved to Gotham and just wants a fresh start. And Bruce could say, maybe so, but you need to keep your head in the game, McGinnis. We don't know when these Riddlers could strike next. They could come at anywhere, at any time. You need to be on the alert at all times. And Terry could say, yeah, I know, you know me, I'm always keeping an eye on things. Besides, it's not like a member of the Riddlers goes to Hamilton High, do they now? And Bruce looks up and Terry's like, yeah, alright, whatever. Anyway, if you hear anything about the Riddlers, let me know. I want to get first crack at them. And Bruce could say, Commissioner Barbara Gordon's got everything covered. I'll keep an eye on things on my side. You just keep an eye on things on your end. Got it? Terry's like, got it, old man. I'll catch you later. And then the next shot we see is a punk kid walking around wearing a question mark shirt. And Terry could say, you're Edward Nashton, right? And the kid looks up and says, yeah, I'm Edward Nashton. What gave it away? He goes, well, I've never seen anyone wear a t-shirt that has a question mark on it. Want to tell me about it? Oh, I'm a big fan of the Riddler. And Terry could say, Riddler? Wasn't that one of the old Batman's enemies from back in the day? And Edward could say, yeah, you could say that. I'm a big fan. And Terry goes, not to sound rude, but why would someone want to worship the Riddler? I mean, the guy was off his head, he was crazy. And then Edward could say, well, let me ask you a question. Why do we have a gang running around Gotham calling themselves the Jokers as a tribute to Batman's greatest enemy? And Terry goes, yeah, but that's different. They're just street punks, you know. They're just looking to cash in on some old urban legends popularity. And then Edward could say, yeah, but has it ever wondered to you why the new Batman hasn't got a villain who can challenge him in a battle of game and wits and intelligence? And Terry could say, look, I'm the last guy you should be asking about Batman. Besides, you know, from what I understand, a lot of the original Batman's enemies just disappeared. And Edward could say, yeah, but you ever wondered what happened to the Riddler? A guy who used to challenge him constantly, but then just disappears. Has that ever made you wonder where he could be? And Terry goes, look, there are a million things going on in this world right now, and, you know, the Riddler's nothing, you know, it's nothing to me. And Edward would say, well, thanks for showing me around, Terry. This is my class. Hang out after? And Terry goes, yeah, I'd love to, but, you know, I've got to go straight to work, you know. He goes, oh, yes, you work for a famous billionaire, don't you? What's his name? Paxton Powers? And Terry laughs and says, oh, please, I'd never work for that jerk. Besides, Paxton's in prison after his involvement with the Royal Flash Gang. No, I work for Bruce Wayne. And Edward goes, the Bruce Wayne? Billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne? And Terry goes, I'd hardly call him a playboy now, but yeah, that's the man I work for. He goes, what's he like? Edward says, I heard he's a man of few words. And Terry goes, well, you know, Bruce, what you see is what you get, really. He's a very private guy, and, you know, he's cool. You know, he's really cool. Anyway, I've got to go. I'll catch you later. So Terry opens his locker, and he sees all Riddler graffiti on his locker, and an envelope with a green question mark sprayed on it. And Terry looks at it and says, what the hell is this? A school prank? He looks around both sides of the hall to see if anyone is acting suspicious, and Terry goes, I better take this to the old man. And then we get to cut to the Batcave, where Bruce is constantly looking at this envelope and says, where did this come from? And Terry goes, I don't know. I just opened my locker, it was covered in question mark graffiti, and this green envelope with a question mark was on it. You ever seen anything like this before? And Bruce could say, Terry, look at who you're talking to here. I've seen everything. This is nothing new to me. For all we know, this could be a group of punk kids trying to play a prank on you. What do we know about this new kid, Edward Nashton? The new kid? Nothing much, really, says Terry. All I know is, from what the principals told me, both his parents passed away, and he lives with his uncle and has to take care of him because his uncle's not well. And, says Bruce, and nothing. What, you think he could be behind this? I never said that. I'm just asking you, what do we know about this kid? Well, the only thing I do know is he says he's a big fan of the Riddler. Wait. Did you just say he's a big fan of the Riddler? Yeah, says Terry. Is that a bad thing? I would suggest you keep the Nashton kids safe. If the Riddlers are indeed on the rampage, we need to keep this boy safe because they could go after the Riddler's biggest fan, and that's bad news for him. Yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah, I can keep an eye on him. No sweat. And we get a call from Barbara. Bruce? Is Terry there? Yes. Why, what's going on? The Riddlers have struck again. They've been attacking several video game companies now. What's the name of the video company? Nigma Incorporated? Did you say Nigma Incorporated? Yes, why? Never mind, I'll get Terry on it. Terry? You know me, Bruce. I'm never one to shy away from answering the call. I'm on it. Good. I'll keep an eye on things on my side. And McGinnis, be careful. We don't know what the Riddlers are capable of. They could strike at any time, at any place. Yeah, I know, Bruce. Look, just send me the location of one of the companies and I'll get straight on it. Alright. And Terry, good luck. You're going to need it. I'll be careful. But there's one other thing I want to take with me. Oh yeah? What's that? And they both look at Ace. Okay, you can take Ace with you, but be careful. Alright, on my way. And then we see the next shot is the Riddlers attacking a video company, what used to be Nigma Incorporated, and they start spraying green graffiti with question marks all over the building. And one of the Riddlers says, "Wow, our Riddler's going to be so proud of us." And then we see Batman coming. Yeah? Well, I'm not exactly proud of you either. This property's been shut down for years. Why are you doing this? And then the Riddlers could all stand up and say, "We are sick and tired of everyone forgetting about who the Riddler used to be. He's the smartest and most intelligent Batman villain of all time, and it's time he takes his rightful place back. Nobody cares about the Joker anymore. It's all about the Riddler. And you are gonna learn the hard way why the Riddler was the smartest villain of all time." And the Batman could say, "Look, I respect the fact that you're all fans, but you need to give this up right now. Somebody's going to seriously get hurt." And the Riddlers could say, "Yeah, that's you." And then we see a big fight where the Riddlers outnumber Batman, and one of the big guys of the gang holds him up. And then we see the main guy of the Riddlers wearing a long green trench coat with a purple question mark sprayed on the front, and he's wearing a mask with the question mark tattooed on his face. And he said, "I've got a special message for you, Batman. I want you to go to the place where it all ended." And Batman could say, "What are you talking about? What ended?" "The day that the game ended. The day that it was over." "I don't know what that even means," says Terry. And the Riddler leader says, "Go to the place where it all ended. I'll give you one clue. You don't judge the book by its cover." And Terry says, "I have no idea what that means." "Go to the place where it all ended and don't judge the book by its cover." And then the Riddlers drive off on their motorcycles. "Bruce, did you get that?" says Terry. "Every last word." "Do you have any idea what that means?" "No, not really, but I do have a rough idea. Come back to the Batcave and I'll explain." We come back to the Batcave and we see Bruce is stitching up Terry. "You okay?" "Yeah, I'll be alright. But I wonder why the Riddlers will attack an old video company like Nigma Incorporated." "Bruce? A long time ago, Edward Nigma used to work for a real slimy businessman named Dan Mockridge." "Right. Dan Mockridge bought up all of Nigma Incorporated so Edward Nigma could work for him and sponsor his video games. But there was just one problem. Mockridge wanted to keep all the money for himself and make sure that Edward Nigma wouldn't get a penny out of it. Wow. Talk about a bad business move. So it's possible that the Riddlers are on some sort of revenge campaign for the original Riddler. Yeah, but you told me that the original Riddler was dead, right? Yes. Is there something you're not telling me, old man? It's nothing. I want you to go to the auction rally where the Riddler met his end. I've got some leads of my own to follow up on. Alright. But, if there is something you do know, Bruce, you need to tell me. When the time is right, McGinnis, I will tell you. I promise. I owe you for what you did for me. Alright? Just be careful. You too, Bruce. And good luck with whatever you find. Thanks. The next day we see Terry and Max having a deep conversation about the Riddlers. So, what did you find at the auction rally? Nothing much. Just an old hat and a staff shaped like a question mark. It's almost as if the Riddlers wanted me to find it. Max goes, any idea who is the brains behind this new Riddler gang? No, not yet, but these guys are smart, and there's not really much to go with. What's the old man saying? I don't know. It's almost like he knows something, but he's just holding back. Look, I don't know Bruce Wayne as well as you do, but from what I've seen, he does everything for a reason. Maybe he's trying to protect you. Well, what's the point in me being Batman if I still need protecting? Hey, even heroes still need protecting, Terry. And then Edward comes in. Hey guys, mind if I join you? Oh, hey Edward. Yeah, sure, come sit down. How are you finding it here? It's not bad. Don't think much of that Nelson guy. Who, Nelson Nash? Don't mind him. What you see is what you get. So, pretty cool, isn't it, about the Riddlers challenging Batman? Yeah. Edward, if you don't mind us asking, don't you find it a bit unusual that you'd worship an old villain from the old days of the original Batman? And Edward says, not really. I've always liked the idea of someone who could challenge a hero intellectually. It's just so cool. Maybe, says Terry. And then Max goes, look, I'm just going to come out of it straight. We find that your obsession with the Riddler a bit unhealthy. I mean, you wear a shirt with a question mark on it. I mean, isn't that a bit weird? Okay. And Edward says, wasn't there a hero back in the day called The Question and he had no face? Isn't that a bit strange? Well, The Question wasn't like the Riddler. He was an old ally of Batman from back in the day. Perhaps, but no one questions that. No pun intended. Perhaps, but look, just be careful, Edward. You know, the Riddlers are targeting lots of people, and if they find out that you're some Riddler fanatic, you know, you could be next. Oh, please. What could they possibly do that hasn't been done already? Anyway, I've got to go. I'm late for class. I'll see you guys later? Yeah. Max says, that kid is weird. Terry says, tell me about it. Anyway, Max goes, when are you going to talk to Dana? Oh, come on, Max, what can I say to her? Oh, I'm sorry I left you to go fight the Jokers in a nightclub. Yeah, that's going to go down well. Look, Dana still cares about you. Don't you think she deserves to know the truth? What can I say to her, Max? Oh hey, I'm Batman, and I secretly work for a billionaire who used to be Batman. Yeah, that'll go down well. Look, at some point, Terry, you're going to have to tell her because she thinks you don't care about her anymore. Look, I just thought it would be in everyone's best interest if I stay away from Dana because my job's getting in the way. Well, after this Riddler business is finished, maybe you should try and talk to her. Because you don't want to end up like Bruce, all alone. You're better than that, Terry. Batman's only part of your life, not your whole life. Maybe. Anyway, I've got to go. I'll see you later, Max, and thanks. And then Terry calls Bruce. Bruce? Yeah, it's me. Yeah, I found an old hat and a staff shaped like a question mark, but there wasn't much else to go with. What are you doing? I'm just seeing an old friend, says Bruce. Okay. Do you need me to go with you? It's okay. Go back to the Batcave and start digging up for some clues. I'll let you know if I need anything. I'll be back soon. Wayne out. And we see Bruce come to an old, abandoned dump of an apartment, and he opens the door. And Bruce starts talking to a figure in the shadows. Even after all these years, your ego, you just couldn't let it go, could it? You're one to talk, says the figure. What do you mean? Well, getting kids to do your dirty work for you, Bruce? Pathetic. Or should I say, Batman? What do you want, Nigma? And the lights come on, and it's Edward Nigma, bedridden, all paralysed, and on life support. You left me to die, Batman. I already told you, I'm not Batman anymore. Well, you'll always be Batman to me. How could you let that happen to me, Bruce? I told you, I was on another case. I can't be everywhere at once. Look at you. Pathetic. All alone, no sidekicks, and getting a boy to do a man's job. Well, you're one to talk. Why is there a group of gangs calling themselves the Riddlers? What do you know about it? I have to say, I am very proud of these kids. It's good to know that they want the Riddler's legacy to carry on. Why should it always be about the Joker? After all, the Jokers have had their fun for years. It's time for things to get back to being a serious game again. You don't get it, do you, Nigma? This isn't a game. The Riddlers targeted your old company, Nigma Incorporated. They did? Yes. Is that what you want? Look, I know nothing about why these Riddlers are making these attacks, but I do know one thing. There is someone out there who is carrying on the Riddler's great work, and I couldn't be more proud of him. And Bruce says, if you know who this new Riddler is, you better start talking now. Oh, I'm not going to tell you now, Bruce, because if I do tell you, there'd be no game. Oh, and one more thing. Tell the new Batman that I think his suit sucks. So, is that how heroes are now? Heroes don't wear capes anymore? Remember back in our days, it was all about the capes, it was all about the hats. Run along now, Brucey. You still got time to win this game. Oh, and one more thing. When you do see this new Riddler, tell him I said hello. I would love to meet him. Tell him how proud I am. He makes an old uncle very proud. And then Bruce looks away in shock and says, the person who's the loser in this game is you, Nigma, not Batman. And then we come back to the Batcave and we see Terry's on the console thinking. Any luck? Says Bruce. No, not yet. So where did you go? Like I said, I went to see an old friend. Right. Care to elaborate on that? No. So you found a hat and a staff. So it appears that this new Riddler is leaving clues for you to find out all about all the old places that the original Riddler used to hit or work at. Terry says, yeah, but it's not really enough. I mean, I've barely even able to nail this guy. I mean, this guy just moves so quick. Bruce, what is it? This old friend of mine, he said something. Like what? Says Terry. It's not important. The important thing is we have to find these Riddlers and their leader before they strike again. No. Listen, old man. You don't get to say something cryptic like that and walk away from me. Come on. What happened? I went to see Edward Nigma. What? The original Riddler? He's alive? Barely. But how could you keep something like this from me? I had to be sure. Terry, I don't think it's him. What makes you so sure? Because he can't even walk. Right. Is this to do with the whole giant book thing falling on him? After the giant book fell on him, Edward Nigma sustained serious injuries and was left paralysed. There was nothing anyone could do for him, so he hid himself away. Okay, so if Edward Nigma isn't behind all these Riddler attacks, then who is? No, I think he is involved, but I think someone else is doing it for him. Okay. Who do you think it could be? Think about it, Terry. How many other people do you know would want to carry on the Riddler's great work? Oh no, you don't think it's him, do you? Think about it, Terry. He's a fan, and he will do anything to keep the Riddler's legacy going. Yeah, but Edward Nashton's just a kid. I mean, he wouldn't know the first thing about riddles. He wouldn't, but Edward Nigma would. It was what he said to me, McGuinness. He said he makes an old uncle proud. How many other kids in Hamilton High have an uncle who they look after and take care of? Oh boy. McGuinness, I want you to go to Nashton's apartment, find out everything you can about him. And be careful, this boy could be dangerous. If Nigma is in his head, then we have to stop him before it's too late. Yeah, but I know he's a fan, Bruce, but I don't think he'd stoop this low. Terry? Alright, I know, you're right. Have you got his address? I do. But be careful, Terry. The Riddler, no matter who is wearing the hat, is an extremely dangerous opponent. Yeah, I know. Well, like the Joker? Terry? Alright, I know. I'll be careful. I'll keep watch here. So the next scene you'd have Terry going to Nashton's apartment, and he sees like a sick shrine to the Riddler with question mark graffitis all over the wall. Bruce, are you getting this? Yep. Wow, I knew he was a fan, but I didn't think he was this obsessed. Yeah, you could say that. What are you expecting me to find here? You'll know when you see it. I don't see anything. Keep looking. If we find any clues, we'll find Nashton. Right. There's a recording here. Well, what does it say? It says play me. Riddler's good, but he's not sloppy. Put it in the TV, Terry. Let's see what it's got on it. Terry puts the disc in, and he sees an old message from Edward Nigma. He goes, "Hello, my name is the Riddler, and you probably know me as Edward Nigma. If you're seeing this recording, then you must know that I have lost the game. Batman won, or should I say, the judge got the better of me. So if Batman, if you're seeing this message, you proved to be the better man. You proved to be worthy of the game. I lost, and you won. But I can assure you, one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday in the future, the Riddler and the Batman will engage in a battle of wits one more time. But until then, I will lay low. So if anyone who is seeing this message, I want you all to know, the game never ends. Riddlers, make me proud and honour the game and the questions that the Riddler leaves and asks for each and every one of you. Farewell, my friends, and remember, the game never truly ends." Bruce, did you hear that? Bruce? He can't hear you, Batman. And Terry turns around, and you see Edward Nashton in full Riddler costume. Or should I say, Terry McGinnis? Wait a minute. How do you know I'm... Oh, come on, Terry. It's not hard to figure out. Think about it. You work for Bruce Wayne. Batman reappears. Think about it. Even I don't have to be the Riddler to figure that out. You know, it's quite surprising. My uncle spent years and years trying to figure out who the Batman was, and yet his nephew, me, figured it out by one meeting. Why do you think I asked you, do you work for Paxton Powers? Because if I said, do you work for Bruce Wayne, it would have been too obvious. Look, Edward, whatever your uncle has promised you, or whatever you think you're doing for him, look at him. His days as the Riddler is over. You don't want to carry on his legacy. This is not what you want. You've still got a life, Nashton. You can walk away from this. You don't get it, Terry, says Edward. All I've ever wanted was my parents' approval, and they're gone. So I turn to my uncle, the iconic Riddler himself. Think about it, McGinnis. With me and the Riddlers together, the Riddler's legacy can live on forever. I am sick and tired of everyone always talking about the Joker and the Jokers, the great wars that the Batman and the Joker had for years and years. The Riddler was the true opponent, not some clown. Look, Nashton, you're not thinking straight. Think about it. If Edward Nygma really wanted to challenge Batman, don't you think he would have done it himself? He can't, Terry. He's bedridden, he's paralysed, he's barely even alive, and someone has to take care of him, and that's me. So I'm honouring my uncle's great work by fighting in a game of wits with Batman. Oh, and Bruce, I know you're probably listening somewhere. I've cut your signal off from your pal Terry. So, if you really want the boy, come to the one place where I try to make, or should I say, the Riddler try to reform himself, but humiliated him in front of everyone. And remember, Batman, Bruce, Terry, the game doesn't truly end. In fact, the game has just begun. Terry and Nashton go at it before Nashton knocks him out with the Riddler staff. Sweet dreams, Terry. Oh, and Bruce, I look forward to seeing you also. We get a scene of the Batcave where Bruce is sitting there thinking long and hard, and Barbara Gordon walks in. Well, you know, you've always been known for never answering your phone, Bruce, but even for you this is beyond ridiculous. What's happened? He has the boy. What? The Riddler. He has Terry. Well, hang on a minute. What? Edward Nygma has Terry? No. His nephew. His nephew? But how is that even possible? I went to see Edward Nygma. You went to see him? He's alive? But every time a villain disappears from the old days, I make it my business to keep track of their location and their activities, just like I did with Bane. Okay, is the Riddler alive? He's paralysed. After the judge threw a giant book on him, he sustained terrible injuries that he couldn't even heal himself, so he's bedridden and on life support. Right, what did Nygma tell you? He told me that he may not be all behind the attacks, but someone is doing it for him. Really? So his nephew is honouring his uncle's legacy? Wow, talk about keeping it in the family. Maybe so. But Nashton did leave one last clue before I lost contact with Terry. Okay, what's that? He said to go to the one place where he tried to reform himself before the Batman humiliated him. Well, from what you told me, the last thing I remember where the Riddler tried to reform himself was he tried to distribute wacko toys. That's it. That's where he's holding Terry. I've got to go find him. No, Bruce, hang on a minute. It's too dangerous. I don't care how many years of experience you've got. You know, this kid's crazy, and he'll do absolutely anything. You even said so yourself. I have to do something, Barbara. He wants Bruce Wayne. Well, if he wants Bruce Wayne so badly, let's give him exactly what he won't expect. What do you have in mind? Well, he says he wants to challenge Batman to one more game of wits and intellectual. Then we'll give it to him. No, Barbara. I nearly got myself killed last time trying to save Terry from ink. And besides, I'm far too old now than I was then to get the job done. Bruce, if I know you, you won't let a little thing like old age stop you from being Batman. I think the real truth is you could have been Batman all along, but you're just too stubborn. Come on, Bruce. Even my father said that about you. Alright, but if I'm going to save Terry, I'm going to need something. Okay, I'm going to need an old batsuit. Well, you can't use the suit of armour. It's had it. It's finished. It's toast. What about something else? What about the original batsuit? All my old suits are torn up. Bullet holes, gashes, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, I know. What about your other batsuit? You know, the one that you was using before you upgraded it. My proto batsuit. I only used it for a few missions before I upgraded it. Last time I used it was at the Apocalypse of '09. Then that's what you'll give the new Riddler. Give him something he wouldn't expect. So Bruce dons the original Batman Beyond suits with a red cape. You know, it feels good to wear a cape. Bruce, capes are so 20th century now. You should know. I would. I'll monitor your activity from here. And Bruce, be careful. I would recommend taking Ace with you. He's good at sniffing out clues. Alright, Barbara. Are you sure DA Sam Young doesn't mind you being here? He doesn't need to know. As far as he's concerned, I'm just helping out an old friend. Thanks, Barbara. I appreciate it. Now stop talking. Terry needs you. I'll keep an eye on activity here, okay? Got it. So Bruce arrives at an abandoned factory that used to be Wacko Toys. Ace and Bruce look around, and we see Bruce in full pre-Beyond batsuit. Nashton? It's me, Bruce. Ah, there you are. So you finally decided to come out of hiding after all these years. I must say, I am impressed. Nashton, listen to me. Your uncle, his days are over. You still have a bright future. You don't have to do this. En contraire, Brucey, I do. I have to know. Why? Why what, Bruce? Why would you want to be the second coming of the Riddler? Like I told your boy, Terry. Why should the Joker and the Jokers have all the attention? The Riddler was the true great opponent of the Dark Knight, wouldn't you say, Bruce? In his own mind, perhaps. Oh, you would say that, wouldn't you? What do you want? I want you to find Terry. If you can find him within an hour, then I will let him go and I will hand myself in. And if I don't, well, what's the saying? If you're going to have just one Batman dead, you might as well kill the entire Belfry. So, how would Gotham feel if they found out that 2 Batmen died? Your time starts now. Oh, and Bruce, I wouldn't recommend taking the dog with you. It wouldn't be a fair game now, would it? Fine. Ace, stay here. Ace looks on, sad, but understands Bruce's request. What do you want me to do? I'm going to challenge you to a rematch. My uncle challenged you. I want you to go through the maze and find Terry. Alright? Now remember, Brucey, You have 1 hour. Don't take too long. Time waits for no man. Or should I say, Batman. Barbara? Barbara. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention, Bruce. I've cut all contact from the outside world. Wouldn't want you to be cheating now, would we? Time's a ticking, Brucey. So Bruce starts walking around the maze. How am I supposed to find him? This maze looks even more difficult than last time. Tick-tock, Batman, tick-tock. Nashton, I have one question. Fine, one more. Why? What are you doing this for? Is this some sort of revenge campaign for your uncle? It is a little bit of revenge, Bruce. But I would say it's more about honouring one legacy to the other. Honouring past and future. Now hurry, Bruce. Terry hasn't got long. So Bruce keeps looking around for clues as to where Terry's whereabouts are. Said, oh dear. This is going to be really hard. Nashton, this is ridiculous. Where is Terry McGinnis? Temper, temper, Brucey. Remember, you have 50 minutes now. Each time you're asking me questions, Terry's life hangs in the balance. Right. Okay. Bruce comes to a question. There are 12 months in an entire year, but only 1 month has 28 days. But every 5 years, one day is 29. What month am I? Oh, this is child's play. February. Well done, Batman. Well done. And then we see the giant hand of fate comes and Bruce jumps on it. He then glides to Terry's position. Now hang on a minute. That's cheating, Batman. Bruce lands where Terry is and he sees Terry strapped to a table. Bruce starts to untie Terry. Terry? Bruce? Bruce, is that you? I'm here. Are you okay? Nashton proceeds to speak to both Terry and Bruce. I have to say, Bruce, I am very impressed. My hat's off to you, and well done. Although it didn't take you long to figure that out. Now then, one final challenge. Tell me, what do you and Terry have in common? I don't get it. What does that even mean? I'll give you another clue. What do you and the boy both have in common? What drives you to be Batman? Don't answer it, Bruce. It's a trick. It's okay. We're both driven by our good works of our fathers. Something you don't have. Well done. He's free to go. Terry? Are you okay? Yeah. Whoa! Have to say, I'm digging the red cape. Looks better on you than it does on me. Very funny. Well, I guess Batman really did come out for one final game. I guess he did. Oh. You okay? Yeah. I'm just reminded that I'm too old to be doing this sort of thing. Well, I really appreciate you trying to look for me. I think you better go back. I'll handle Nashton. Alright. And Terry, good luck. So they go to the top of the rooftop and we see Edward Nashton waiting there for Terry. It's not fair. My father never was proud of me like that. He never even tried to come and look for me. Look. Nashton, says Terry, I know you're upset, but the Riddler, Nigma, your uncle, played you. He played everyone. You don't have to do this anymore. I don't? No. The Riddler's gone. And he's gone, and him alone doesn't mean a thing. You still have the chance. You're right, I do. So, if I can't beat Batman in a game of wits, then I'll just beat him physically. And then Nashton starts beating the crap out of Terry with his question mark staff. Nashton, although not a skilled fighter, gets the better of Terry. It's like, what? What's the matter, Terry? Are you jealous? Are you jealous that I'm a better Riddler than my uncle? Yeah? Well, I'll say one thing. Your uncle's better at one thing than you. Yeah? What's that? He never talks as much as you do. And then Terry slugs him with a right hand. Give it up, Nashton. It's over. No. The game's not over until I say it is. And they proceed to go at it more. And they both fall off the rooftop. And Terry grabs him by his hand. Give me your hand. I'll pull you up. No. There's no point. If I can't keep the Riddler's great work, then who else can? Come on, Nashton. Give me your hand. I'll pull you up. Before Terry can pick up Nashton, he is attacked from behind by a gang of Riddlers. Oh, please. Did you really think you'd fall for that? The original Batman wouldn't have fell for that. You really are pathetic, McGinnis. Yeah? I've got something you don't have. What's that? Him. And you see Ace jump out of nowhere and attack Nashton. Good bat dog. And while Ace is barking and biting Nashton, Terry slugs out all the Riddlers. Why? Why? Please. Please, no more, says Nashton. Nashton's covered in blood after being bitten by Ace. Please. No more. I surrender. What do you want from me? Give this up. The game's over. Bruce, go ahead. Are you getting this? Every last bit of it. Barbara's here. You know what to do, Terry. Yeah, I do. And then Terry throws Nashton onto the top of the police car and disappears. And Barbara looks at him and says, nice to know some things don't change. And then when, in the ending, we come to a last shot. We see Bruce and Terry talking outside the balcony of Wayne Manor. I feel so sorry for Nashton. All he wanted to do was make his uncle proud. And instead, he was just blinded. Love can be blind, McGinnis, especially when it comes to your own flesh and blood. Look at Nashton. He had no family. Nigma played on that. No matter how despicable our family members are, all we want is just their love and their approval, and that's something Nashton wanted, but never got. Yeah, I guess you're right. Do you think he would have been proud of me? Who, your father? Yeah. He is proud of you. Just as I am. And in walks Max. Hey guys. Thought I'd see how you're doing. You look in bad shape. Yeah, well, I just had about 1,000 questions beaten into me last night at the hands of Nashton. Yeah, I guess so. How are you holding up? A couple bruised ribs and a black eye won't cure. You okay? Yeah, not too bad. You've got a visitor. She was worried sick about you. And in walks Dana. Terry! Max called. She said that you was in an accident. Accident? And then Bruce winks at Terry and walks off. Yeah, I was in a terrible accident, but I'm okay. I didn't think you'd want to see me. Look, Terry, despite our problems we've had, I still care about you. I still want us to work. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you either, Dana. Terry, can you just do me one favour? What's that? Can you give me a hug? I thought you'd never ask. Dana, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. Terry, please. It can wait. Just hold me, please. Alright. And Dana and Terry hug, and that's how Batman Beyond ends. But we get an after credits scene where we see Edward Nashton is locked up in the new Arkham in a secured facility in a straitjacket, and hearing Edward Nigma's voice in his head telling him how pathetic he is. And while he's hearing his voice, Nashton keeps saying game over, over and over again. And that's it. And that's how the Batman Beyond movie ends. That's my theory on how I would bring the Riddler into Batman Beyond. I hope you all enjoyed listening to this crazy theory, and I would have the new Batman Beyond movie be called The Riddler's Revenge. That's kind of like a shout out taken from the Arkham games, part of the DLC, but I think it would make for an excellent title for the Riddler coming into Batman Beyond. So, I hope my good pal Chris enjoyed listening to this, because I know the Riddler is his favourite villain of all time. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Is this how you would bring the Riddler into Batman Beyond, or is there another way you would do this? Take care everybody, and I will see you all next time.